Hello there, thank you for joining us and welcome to another edition of the Evening Review. My name is Ogito Greg, and in studio with me this evening we have the Chief Executive Officer of Alpha Namibia Industries Renewable Power, better known as ANIREP, Mr. Iyaloo Nangolo. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, and thank you very much for inviting us. I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us, what is ANIREP and what makes it unique in the Namibia financial institutions landscape?
Thank you very much. So ANIREP, we were founded in 2018 and listed on Namibia Stock Exchange in September the 12th, 2019. We are the only renewable energy company listed on Namibia Stock Exchange today, and therefore we represent a bridge between retail investors, institutional investors, and exposure to renewable energy industry in Namibia, so on electrical supply industry of Namibia. So given that we're a unique product, we are specialized in vertical integrated to develop and also acquire assets in order to have a long-term returns to our shareholder. So that is in a nutshell what is ANIREP.
Awesome, awesome. So you are the vehicle through which Namibians could get shares in the developing renewable energy industry.
Fantastic, that's correct, 100% right. We spotted that there was no such a vehicle in the marketplace at that time after a detailed research. And then we approached the institutional investors who invested in us, as well as retail investors who also invested in us.
Awesome, awesome. Now, just last week, you guys announced your annual financial results. Tell us some of the highlights, please.
Okay, so our results, we had a formal announcement last week. The results are quite positive. Yes, they are challenged, but in general are positive. We have made a turnaround, first turnaround into cash positive, as well as increasing our generation from around 23 gigawatts to about 63 gigawatts, which is 3 times the multiple. So we are actually progressing quite sustainably, especially because this income comes from repetitive income, which is you generate, you have power purchase agreement. Power purchase agreement, they have exposure up to 2051. So it's a very long-term horizon in which you can derive both returns to our shareholders as well as to our bondholders who are supporting us as lenders.
Okay, excellent. Good news and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You also reported a statutory loss. Please explain what that means.
So the statutory loss was to do with the fact that at that point on time, end of February this year, we did evaluation of the assets going forward. Now, obviously, each year you need to do a test of the assets that we have. We've got big assets in terms of renewable. The first one is 25 megawatts, which went into operation last year at Moses Maguire Garo App in Cannes. We have another one in Chorongo, which has been in operation since 2016-15 there, but it's undergone an upgrade. And another one at Grootfontein. Those are 5 megawatts each in Chorongo and Grootfontein, in addition to rooftop that we have. Now what happened is, because they've got a long-term prospects, they need to test against economic parameters that have been assumed that are pushing forward, generating sustainability of assets. So this is an accounting, based on accounting principle. They've seen that on a projection that we put in compared to previous years, because this time we have different exchange rate, we have different conditions. Then they gave what we call an impairment, which is a book entry. That is about 40 million kind of impairment that it have been taken through our assets, which is, plant and the equipment that are there. Have been taken off there, as well as goodwill, which is the price on those assets that we went and acquired in the marketplace. So it's just a technical, but it's a statutory based on IFRS, which is accounting laws that are causing us to report in that way. So we're compliant to the accounting principles.
Okay. But it helps to ensure that the financials reflect the real value.
Yes. So it does that. So at that point on time, it reflects that. But when the conditions are changing, for example, if they're on a projection that we have in terms of carbon market and other clawback what we have in the place, if they are changing, then the same kind of loss will be reversed into profit.
I see.
Yeah, but for the goodwill, which you once is been impaired, you lose it altogether. It's about 9 million out of that being the goodwill. Yes.
Okay. There was also non-cash impairments. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Non-cash impairment and the statutory impairment is the same thing.
I see.
What it means is that these are not having any cash flow impact to the company.
Okay.
Neither does it have any kind of impact to the capacity of company to generate power, and also capacity of a company to comply to their lenders' covenants. So those kind of constraint, they are not applying whatsoever. That's why they call non-cash call it factors.
I see. On the other hand, ANIREP boasts financial revenue growth for the year in question.
Yes.
What drove that?
So that was driven mainly by the new plant at Can, which is Moses Maguire Garoeb, which we inaugurated last year with then His Excellency President Nangolo Mbumba on the 6th of March last year, and then became compliant and then officially in June. So over this 6 months, it generated sufficient income to drive us from what I call it negative to positive. And so that was a fantastic growth that we've recorded. Yes, this plant is with us for another 24 years, so you can imagine we're just in the beginning of a long, good income generating to the company.
Very good. Tell us more about that increase in solar generation capacity and electricity sales.
Okay, so as I said, we have before the Can project, assets, we only have Fontaine and Chorongo. So in general, they used to produce about 23 gigawatts per annum of power, which is about, saving about 5,000 households in throughout Namibia. But then with the addition of Moses Maguire Garoeb solar plant of 25 megawatts, it enables us to give power to more than 15,000 homes in Namibia. So you can imagine that you're moving from 23 gigawatts to about 63 gigawatts. So that pushed up, so it's increased the generation, but also give us more sustainability and then enable the country from rely less on imported power and use the local power. So we're quite proud of the event, and then you can see it on our number now. It's filtering through in our numbers.
And with all that development, your operating cash flow has also turned positive.
Yes.
What does that mean for ANIREP going forward now?
Okay,
what you guys going to go on a buying spree?
yeah, thank you. So we have been doing both organic growth, which is through the group, as well as acquisition before. But this means that we're now turning the corner from what we call from investment heavy, which you put investment in order to derive income going forward. So it goes what we call the J curve. So we turn the corner from going negative into positive, which that means is that we will be safe, bring back cash to the company, and therefore going forward we'll have more prospect either to return the capital to the shareholders, and also look at more expansion in using internal return income. So it's a good story for our shareholder that trusted us with a long-term investment in us. Yeah.
And those shareholders who got in early, they'll be enjoying the fruit of their labor. But there's still a chance for shareholders to come in now.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's still a chance because we're the only listed company on stock exchange. So the shares are available for people to buy in open market in the Namibia Stock Exchange. So we're inviting any other that is not investor that was on the site, but this is an opportunity to come on board and join us in empowering renewable in Namibia for Namibian utilization.
Tell us a little bit more about your investors. And in the same breath, we'd like to learn about your policy in terms of dividends.
Okay, thank you. So we have, we are institutional heavy investors. So we've got the biggest investor who is more than 50% of a company, about 50 plus 53 there, is the GRPF, Government Institute of Pension Fund, that invested in us from the word go. In top of that, we have about 30% that's owned by the PIC, which is South African, in fact, Africa's biggest institutional investor for South African public service employees. It's called GEPF, Government Employee Pension Funds, based in Pretoria. So they have invested in us about 30%. We also have our general partners who came up with the idea and invested about 10% to the company, and another to be retail investors. So you have retail investors, the smaller investors who invested in us. So those are the kind of investors we have. Majority of them are Namibians, could be smaller pension funds and also individuals, but we also have investors from Europe, Japan, and Asia, South Africa, and in the region. So we do have a quite broad-based investment, allocation.
Okay. No, thank you. So we're gonna leave it there for a moment because we'll be right back just after this commercial break. So stay with us here on Evening Review. Welcome back to the Evening Review. My name is Ogito Greg, and continuing our conversation with the Chief Executive Officer of ANIREP, Mr. Iyaloo Nangolo, in studio now. Mr. Nangolo, you were just telling us that the big institutional investors in ANIREP represent state employee pension funds in Namibia and in South Africa. So those pensioners and people who have their futures secured there, it's tied to the future of renewable energy, which is what you invest in with ANIREP. Yes. But you were about to also tell us your policy in terms of dividends. When you are successful, when do they get the money?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Mr. Craig. Yes, we have pension funds who are long-term investors, and pension kind of a capital to us. In other words, because we invest in this long-term infrastructure, we need to reach sustainable levels, which is the board. It starts with managing that, and then within their wisdom, there's a policy, dividend policy, and then once those levels are reached, they will declare dividends. So unfortunately, this year there was no dividend, but going forward, we're looking towards getting that sustainability. One of our requirement is to grow because of the infrastructure, and we have demonstrated we are growing. So I think going forward, this will be the case, but it's vested on a board to make that decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned about growing in terms of infrastructure, and you have mentioned already in our interview briefly about the assets already owned by ANIREP.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about those assets, but I'm particularly interested in what ANIREP would be interested in acquiring or perhaps building in the years to come.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have currently among our assets, which I told you about, the 25 megawatts at Kan and Moses Maguire Gareb. We have almost 6 megawatts at Ochorongo and another 6 megawatt almost at Grootfontein. But we have been expanding on Chorongo. So there's Chorongo phase 2 that we expect to come online with these 2 to 3 months. Yeah, that's about 7 megawatts that's coming there, as well as a 10 megawatt battery. It's actually the first grid-connected battery. It was already, technically unveiled in March this year.
Yes.
So now it will be issue of energization. So we're expanding there in Ochorongo in a good way.
That's a BESS.
Yeah, the BESS. Yeah, the battery energy storage system that is a grid connected. So that is a good news. So the power will be available at a time of choosing for Senored. It means in the evening to shave their peak, and also maybe in the morning when there's a big higher peak there as well.
Yes.
So we are able to store power there for the first time in the history of our national grid. So we're doing that. In addition to that, there's a project that we acquired last year, in July last year, the 50 megawatt wind in Luderitz, which will be the biggest wind farm in the country. That should come to financial close within a couple of months, and then in September we'll start construction. We'll look about 24 months to finish that, together with China Energy, which is leading wind developer in the world. So we're working with them.
Is that the Dias project?
No, not Dias. That is our project. It's called Serim Luderitz Wind Project, Serim. So it's just going to be south of Dias. It's about 6 megawatt more bigger than Dias. Dias is only 44. This is about 50 megawatts. So that will be coming to line within 2 years of starting construction this September.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to that on a Q4 of 2028. We should have another 50 megawatts coming of wind, which has got a high capacity factor than solar.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And then we're also working hard to start with our super farm. We're about 100 megawatts that we want to do at Kokaboom in Ketmasub in stages. So that is also going quite well. So those are the projects that we are looking at. Yeah, there might be more projects that if they're going through our governance system, we announce them to the market. But those are the ones that they already been announced to the market, and already that we are working on as a pipeline. Now we're also looking at trying to do more on a rooftop because Namibia is blessed with a lot of sun, but our penetration of rooftop in the country, it doesn't compare at all to our peers with similar kind of radiation, like South Africa or Australia. So we want to put more efforts there, so as they can be on demand side, we can manage power at home or at industry levels instead of depending on a grid only. That also helps to curtail our import, which is basically money given to foreign entities. So we want to keep money at home. So we're looking at trying to do that portfolio as well in a strong way.
Awesome, awesome. I look forward to receiving the invitations to those groundbreaking ceremonies.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll be very happy to attend, even if the wind is blowing in Luderitz like it does.
Yeah.
But I'd like you to share some of your insight with us. How would you describe the renewable energy landscape in Namibia at the moment?
Okay, so it's really happening. So it's an exciting time to be a renewable energy company. Given that the country is importing a lot of power, we're told more than 60% of our power is imported. So I think there's a political will to grow it at home, to develop it at home. So for that matter, there is a lot of tenders. There was, NamPower, they issue tenders of more than 120 megawatts that is coming to the market. There is also a lot of mining company that wants to have renewable. So there are a lot of tenders now and then. So, but all be said, we look at really big growth for the country. It's important, especially now with this geopolitical fight over in carbon, fossil fuel. It is important for Namibia to make sure that we have our local renewable change into really generation capacity. So we cannot just let the wind blow and the sun shine without harnessing it. So we are quite excited. The industry is really doing great and we're in the middle of that.
Awesome. I'm very happy to hear that. But as a born and bred Namibian, I have to ask, this development, when we get electricity, will everybody be included, or will it be like everything else in Namibia where some get plenty and most get none?
Okay. So as far as we're concerned, we have I think we are one of the few locally owned and building everything from Namibia. We're 100% Namibian as a registered company, but of course majority owned by the pensioners, as I said. Maybe I can say another 35%, maybe maximum 32% foreign, but the rest is locally, and in all our employees, I think I should say here that we're vertically integrated. So we own Hopes for Africa, which is the biggest EPC contractor in the country. We own ANIREP Solar, and this wind like Zephyrus and Neo Green Hydrogen, as well as Nula. So as a group, we have more than 60 Namibians, people employed. Majority of them, I'll say, more than 95% are Namibians. So, and we're also operating locally, whereby all our service providers are Namibians. So we're quite proud Namibian company. And then those are ESG standard, environment, social and governance issues that we need to comply, and we report as such to both NSX and the public as we grow.
Yeah. I'm very happy to hear you say that, but I must press you on the point a little bit, because ultimately you are listed, you have an obligation to make returns for your shareholders, and the fact is that the majority of Namibia, we are the second worst income unequal country in the world. Most of our people just don't have the money. So electricity has to be bought.
Yes.
Ultimately,
Yes.
even if we generate a whole lot of electricity,
Yes.
won't we still just have to leave most of our people without, because they just don't have the money?
Yeah, so thank you for pressing me. I'll give you one example. Today, the CAN, this Moses Maguire Garable solar plant, is actually the lowest unit cost power in the country.
Wow.
Yeah, we when we inaugurated last year, our rate was 49 cents, 49.05 cents. If you compare to anything that closer to that, is somewhat maybe 80 or 90 cents.
Yes.
Yeah. And we managed to make that go into the grid to open. We develop it at very constraining times. Why I'm saying this, just to show you, as Namibian company, we can do these things in a world-class competitive manner.
Yes.
And we're proud of that. So we are contributing to reducing the cost of our electricity. So if there's any factor that you can say, let's produce at home, is because Namibia has actually matured as developer of solar projects. So we're actually now enjoying very good rate. So for that, I think we're proud as we're adding cost. We're reducing cost instead of adding cost to the grid. But we're also working with the community, like in Chiwarongo, whereby or any other place that we're operating. When we're building Chiwarongo now, we employ local. And when we're at CAN, we employ a lot of people from around this, as well as USACOS. And when we build, also we build for Nampa Mburu. We're basically employing a lot of people from Maruru there. So we are proud that every time there is, albeit the short time, maybe a year or two, but we are almost employing the whole town, who most of the time they do not get these kind of jobs. So we're quite proud. We've got a very big impact on the ground as a company.
Thank you, sir. Let's look to the future a little bit.
Yes.
What do you expect for the rest of this year and for 5 years, both in terms of Namibia as a whole and in terms of ANIREP?
Yeah. So, given that energy is important for development, without energy we cannot grow as an economy. As I stated earlier on, I believe there's a lot of growth. So as a company, I think we will hit now. We are this year, once Chiwarongo, the base as well as expansion comes, will be closer to 50 megawatts. We're now about 38 megawatts, and then within Another 2 years down, we'll climb up to 100. So we actually, by the time we're 10 years, the company should be closer to 100 megawatts. And that is a very great story. So we want to keep on that momentum. And here I've not even talked about adding, say, Coca Boom project, etc. I'm just talking about project that we are contracted, the financial close that we are working on. But it's a good story. So we believe that there will be more impact in terms of reduction of the cost of energy and attracting more investors in other sectors, be it mining, manufacturing, value addition in Namibia. So without cheap power, we cannot grow.
Yes.
So I think there is it's a good story to be told, and that's why we like to go out and share this good story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you grow, the country can grow.
Grows. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Tell us, what should Namibians bear in mind, and how can Namibians benefit from what is to come?
Yeah, so I think is more to do with we need to keep on having our youngsters to learn more on engineering, especially electrical and others engineering, so you can take part in value addition. Power generation is basically value addition. We value add natural resources in the country, whether it's wind or solar or otherwise, hydro. But you can only value add if you are skilled in terms of STEM education. So for young people, I think it's the important time for them to engage and learn, engineering kind of fields, so as we can produce surplus in Namibia for export. Just like we're importing, we can also export if we're self-sufficient and beyond. So we don't have shortage of natural resources like solar and wind, and therefore I encourage Namibians to go and study more university, but study things that matter, STEM, science, so they can add value to our natural resources. I think we're blessed in terms of natural resources, but what we're short of is skills, and that's why I think the future is great if we are all skilled.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nangolo, and thank you very much for joining us on this edition of the Evening Review. The future is great, as you've heard. Get your skills, inform yourself to empower yourself, and join us next time on the Evening Review. Good night.
Night.